We're starting with a rough one because the fight game isn't all bright lights and big checks. Cedric Dumas put it out himself this week. He looked at his bank app, took a screenshot, and there it was. $13.06, not $1,300. $13.96 left a few days out from fight night. He didn't sugarcoat anything. He said legal stuff, grown man bills, and missing out on a previous payday all hit at once, and he's basically walking into Noche UFC with more pressure than most of us can imagine. A lot of people joked about it online, but he was clear. Laugh if you want, he's using it as fuel. You could hear the chip on his shoulder in the way he wrote it. If you followed his last year, you know it's been messy. Pulled from a fight, paying off issues, trying to keep a career on track while life keeps swinging back. Now he's got Zach Reese on the books and a simple scoreboard in his head. Win, get paid, and get that balance back above gas money levels. If you've ever been broke and chasing something, you know exactly what kind of fire that puts in your chest. That's the edge he's bringing into the cage. But money stress wasn't the only raw story this week. Brian Ortega finally broke his silence about everything that went down before the Aljamain Sterling fight in Shanghai. And man, it's worse than most of us thought. He sat down and laid it all out. Cut started Thursday. He chased the number deep into the night. Body stopped responding, and when he tried to squeeze a little more with plastics and a bike, the lights went out. He says he was unconscious for around 30 minutes. Woke up in the ER, couldn't even get his words straight at first. Doctors and team are icing him, stripping the layers, trying to get him back. It's the nightmare weight cut story we always hear whispered about, but this time it's coming from the guy himself, and he still fought. He admitted he was delirious on the scale. He admitted he almost passed out just walking outside later that day, and he admitted fear kicked in, because who wouldn't be rattled after 30 minutes of nothingness? But he said he looked at the people who flew across the world, he thought about his family, and he told himself to show up. Sterling fought a smart, clean fight, picked at him and took the decision. Ortega gave him full credit and took the L on the chin, but the big thing is the lesson he kept repeating. Health first, even though he didn't follow it this time. It's honest and it's ugly, but it's the truth of this sport a lot of fans never see. If you were one of the folks saying he looked off, well now you know why. On the opposite end of the spectrum, the circus is loading up because Darren Till and Andrew Tate are jawing at each other, and it looks real. Till went on camera and basically said the fight is 3/4 done for a December Misfits event. He didn't hide how he feels about Tate's whole alpha talk or the way he talks about women. He said it straight. He's got 4 daughters. He doesn't need to run other people down to feel like a man. But if somebody keeps calling himself Top G, step up and prove it. Tate responded with that cool guy tone he uses, saying he respects Till's career and sense of humor, but if the name calling keeps up, he won't sign. He also hit him with the "I'm the superstar here" line and made it a point to say fighting him is life-changing money for Till, not for Tate. That's bait. It's the kind of line that gets Till to double down publicly, which brings more eyeballs, which makes the deal closer. If you strip out the noise, here's what matters. Both sides seem in, the money sounds right, and the calendar fits. Till's looked sharp in his boxing appearances. Tate's a former kickboxer who hasn't felt real heat in the ring in forever. If they lock it in, it's gonna be a film it all type build. Pressers full of one-liners, and a crowd split between folks who want to see Till put hands on him and folks who want to see Tate survive long enough to talk after. Either way, it's clicks, it's cash, and Till wants every bit of it. Let's talk about someone who's not chasing noise but still made a weirdly perfect headline. Nassourdine Imavov posted his fight night weight from Paris, and it was only 194. That raised a lot of eyebrows because modern middleweights usually rehydrate to 200 plus without blinking. Paulo Costa's been known to touch the mid-210s. Caio Barallo said he was north of 200 in the same time frame, so seeing Imavov a shade under 194 reads small for 185. Here's the punchline. He still boxed Barallo up. He didn't need to be a monster to control the pace. He fought like a sniper, picked his shots, touched the body, and took away Caio's best entries. The number is interesting, but the result is what matters. Some guys carry size like armor, others carry speed and clean decision-making. Nassourdine's telling you he's in that second group, and he just won a big one with that approach. If he winds up facing someone like Khamzat, the question will be obvious. Can you stay standing long enough to let that speed matter, or does the size and pace of a chain wrestler erase it? For now, enjoy the craft he put on display. It takes guts to be the lighter man by choice and still plant your feet to win exchanges. Keeping it in Paris for a second, the Fighting Nerds crew had a brutal night, and the fallout hit hard. Mauricio Ruffy got snatched by Benoit Saint-Denis, and the building went nuts. You could feel the tide turn the second BSD found that grip. Ruffy's teammate John Silva posted his live reaction and it was raw. Hands on the head, pacing, a couple of come-ons, and then that helpless frustration when the tap came. If you've ever cornered a friend or watched a teammate in a hostile arena, you know the feeling. You want to jump in there and drag them out yourself. Fans flip fast online. One bad night and suddenly every young Brazilian with hype is a fraud. That's how it goes, but inside a gym, those losses pull guys closer. The schedule doesn't stop either. The same crew has fights lined up, and the fastest way to put the noise back in its box is to get a win on the next card. Gene looks like a guy ready to carry that weight and try to flip the mood. Back stateside, a pairing nobody would have predicted back in 2022 is now normal. Sean Strickland in Alex Pereira's camp. Strickland took that nasty KO from Poatan a couple years back, and the memes flew for weeks. Now he's in Glover's room helping the same man prep for Magomed Ankalaev. Only in this sport do guys beat each other stiff and end up drilling rounds together. Strickland's on the shelf for a bit, so sharpening Pereira is good use of time and miles. He even joked about it, called Alex a giant, and said he's just trying to avoid adding to his personal CTE collection while giving quality looks. That's the energy in that gym. No fluff, just work. For Pereira, it's gold. You want durable, stubborn, jab-happy rounds? Sean's your guy. You want to pressure and deal with someone who never stops talking and never stops stepping forward? Again, Sean's your guy. Magomed's not Sean, style-wise, but steel sharpens steel, and having a guy in the room who won't fold and won't let you coast is exactly what you want. 4 to 6 weeks out. All this is playing out while fight news keeps popping. Dumas and Reese are locked in for Noche UFC. Ortega's taking time with family and promising smarter decisions next cut. Till's camp is pushing contracts across a table somewhere. Imavov's phone is going to ring with bigger names, and in the middle of the chaos, guys are still posting training clips that tell little stories if you watch close. Patty's been doing more stand-up rounds and telling everyone he's chasing timing in case a certain champ calls his name. Islam tossed a grenade into the timeline by saying Ilya is swerving the one guy he shouldn't swerve. Khamzat's coach said the dream is big, 2 belts, maybe 3, if the body plays nice and the right dates line up. That's all the oxygen modern MMA needs. Fans will argue for a week straight about what's deserved versus what sells. The truth's in the cage, and we'll get there soon enough. Back to Ortega for a moment, because his story is the one people will keep pointing at when the next weigh-in disaster happens. You could hear the conflict in his voice. Health first, but I fought anyway. It's the same tug that's been in this sport since forever. The logic says live to fight another day. The fighter brain says you already fought for months. Don't waste that. He tried to give himself an out. There was even a backup ready, according to him, and he still didn't take it. Respect the honesty, but more than that, hope the lesson sticks. You don't get extra points in the standings for risking a hospital stay. The belt doesn't care how stubborn you are, and the people who love you would rather see you a month later at 100% than get a shell that's running on fumes. The craziest part, Ortega still made it a fight at times with basically no gas. That's the kind of grit fans remember longer than they remember a scorecard. Now circle back to Dumas, because his situation is the kind that makes other fighters nod in private. You don't get paid until you fight, and if you're not in that bonus lane or that top 15 lane, the math can get tight. Camp costs money, management takes a cut, travel hits, life hits. If you stumble and a fight falls through, that hole gets deeper. He chose to show the number, and that number tells a bigger story about what a lot of guys and women deal with trying to climb. It doesn't mean every fighter is broke. It means this job has sharp edges, and the safety net is thin if you're not already headlining. Reese is dangerous, and Dumas knows that, but there's a different switch that flips when pride and paycheck line up. He's got the kind of motivation you can't fake, that can push you through bad spots when the lungs burn and the legs wobble. Or it can freeze you if you let the moment feel bigger than the cage. We'll see which voice wins on Saturday. On the Tate thing, here's the last thought. Take all the talk nice and I'm the superstar posts and set them aside. The only question that matters is whether both sides sign. Tate's built his empire on controlling the room and the narrative. Till's game on a microphone, and even better when he's steering into the skid. They're both selling. They both know it. If it lands in December, it'll be one of those nights where you see 2 totally different fan bases collide under the same roof. Till's people want violence. Tate's people want validation. Promoters love both. And for Darren, this is the perfect kind of fight to reintroduce himself to a bigger audience, with a style that plays well on a boxing night. There's risk because Tate can kickbox, sure, but this isn't MMA and Till's hands translate. If he keeps it simple, jabs his way in, and stays off the dumb exchanges, he can make a loud point. If he starts clowning and chases a clip too early, that's when fights get weird. You know how this goes. One clean shot changes everything. As for Imavov, sitting at 194 might actually be a choice that pays off long term. Guys who don't balloon back sometimes last longer in scramble heavy fights because the legs don't dump. The price you pay is when a monster leans on you on the fence or when a big middleweight's jab feels like a cross. He made it work against KO because the footwork was honest and the reads were quick. He didn't try to plant and trade for ego points. He just took what the fight gave him and piled up minutes. That kind of win ages well. It doesn't look viral the next day, but matchmakers remember who knows how to bank rounds when the finish isn't there. If the next call is for a top-shelf wrestler or a dangerous puncher, he'll need either more pop or more sting on the get-ups, but he's earning the chance to find out. Strickland Pereira, last note, those rounds help both guys in different ways. Sean gets to feel speed and power that most light heavies don't bring, and Alex gets to solve a guy who never wants to take a backward step and never shuts up while he's hitting you. That mental pressure is part of what makes Sean a handful, and managing that in the room pays off fight night, even if your opponent's body type is different. It's also just cool seeing old rivals put ego down and grind. If you're a fan of either man, enjoy it while we have it. These windows don't last forever. There's a lot more coming down the pipe, but that's the pulse right now. A fighter walking into fight week with less than $14 and a mountain to climb. A contender admitting he scared himself near the edge and still fought the next day. A crossover mega talk in the works that would dominate headlines. A quiet assassin at 185 winning with brains over bulk. A teammate watching another teammate fall and feeling that gut punch through a screen. And a former champ and the guy who slept him sharing rounds like none of that history ever happened. That's this sport. It's wild. It's dumb. It's beautiful. It's real life at high speed. Hit the like button if you're riding with us and drop your take below. I'm reading the comments. See you in the next one.